The scary presentation. Carmen hated public speaking. Just thinking about it made her hands sweat and her heart race. She had always been this way. In school, she dreaded group presentations. At work, she avoided meetings where she might have to speak. Carmen worked as a marketing assistant at a small company. She was good at her job. She wrote excellent reports and created great designs, but she always worked behind the scenes. She let her coworkers do the talking. One Monday morning, Carmen's boss called a team meeting. "We have an important client presentation next month," her boss said. "I need someone to present our new marketing strategy. Carmen, I would like you to do it." Carmen's stomach dropped. "Me?" she asked. Her voice came out as a whisper. "Yes, you," her boss said. "You created this strategy. You know it better than anyone. You should be the one to present it." Carmen wanted to say no. She wanted to suggest someone else, but all her coworkers were looking at her. She felt trapped. "Okay," she said quietly, "I will do it." That night, Carmen could not sleep. She kept thinking about the presentation. What if she forgot what to say? What if her voice shook? What if everyone thought she was incompetent? The next day, Carmen talked to her friend Julia. They had coffee after work. "I have to give a presentation in front of important clients," Carmen said. "I am terrified." "Why are you so scared?" Julia asked gently. Carmen thought about it. "I am afraid I will mess up. I am afraid people will judge me. When I speak in public, my mind goes blank. I forget everything I wanted to say." Julia nodded. "I used to feel the same way. Then I learned some tricks that helped me." "What kind of tricks?" Carmen asked. "Preparation," Julia said. "The more you prepare, the less scary it becomes. Write down exactly what you want to say. Practice it many times. Practice in front of a mirror. Practice in front of friends. The more you practice, the more confident you will feel." Carmen felt a small spark of hope. "Do you really think that would help?" "I know it would," Julia said. "Also, remember that the audience wants you to succeed. They are not waiting for you to fail. They want to hear what you have to say." That evening, Carmen started preparing. She opened her laptop and began writing her presentation. She wrote down every point she wanted to make. She organized her thoughts carefully. She created slides with clear, simple information. Writing it all down made Carmen feel a little better. At least she knew what she needed to say. Now she just had to practice saying it. The next day, Carmen practiced her presentation alone in her apartment. She stood in front of her mirror and began speaking. "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am excited to share our new marketing strategy with you." Her voice sounded shaky. She felt silly talking to herself in the mirror, but she kept going. She went through the entire presentation. It took about 20 minutes. When she finished, she felt exhausted, but she also felt a tiny bit more confident. She had done it once. She could do it again. Carmen practiced every day. Sometimes she practiced in front of her mirror. Sometimes she practiced while walking around her apartment. She practiced so many times that she almost memorized the whole presentation. After 1 week, Julia came over to help. "Okay, let me be your practice audience," Julia said. She sat on Carmen's couch and looked at her expectantly. Carmen stood in front of Julia. Her heart started beating fast. Even though it was just Julia, she felt nervous. But she took a deep breath and began. "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today." Her voice shook a little, but she kept going. She went through her whole presentation. A few times she stumbled over words. Once she forgot what came next and had to look at her notes. When she finished, Julia clapped. "That was great," she said. "Really?" Carmen asked. "I made so many mistakes." "You made a few small mistakes," Julia corrected. "But overall, it was really good. You spoke clearly. Your information was organized, and you know your topic well. That came through." "But my voice was shaking," Carmen said. "Only a little," Julia said. "And that is normal. Even experienced speakers get nervous. The important thing is that you kept going. You did not give up." Julia gave Carmen some feedback. "When you get nervous, you speak very fast. Try to slow down, take pauses. Also, make eye contact with the audience. Even if it feels uncomfortable, try to look at people instead of at your notes." Carmen wrote down all of Julia's suggestions. The next time she practiced, she tried to speak more slowly. She tried to pause between main points. It felt strange at first, but Julia was right. It sounded better. 2 weeks before the presentation, Carmen's coworker Mark offered to help. "I heard you are doing the client presentation," he said. "I have done many presentations. Would you like some advice?" "Yes, please," Carmen said. "The biggest tip I can give you is this," Mark said. "Know your first sentence perfectly. If you start strong, the rest will flow more easily. Also, have your notes with you. There is nothing wrong with having notes. They are your safety net." "I thought having notes looked unprofessional," Carmen said. Mark shook his head. "Not at all. Even professional speakers use notes. The key is to not read directly from them. Use them as reminders, not as a script." Carmen felt relieved. She had been trying to memorize everything, but Mark was right. Having notes would make her feel more secure. Carmen created note cards. On each card, she wrote key points in large, clear letters. She did not write full sentences. Just important words to remind her what to say. This felt much better than trying to remember everything. 1 week before the presentation, Carmen practiced in front of both Julia and Mark. She set up her laptop and pretended they were the clients. She started her presentation. This time she felt more confident. Her voice was stronger. She spoke more slowly. She made eye contact with Julia and Mark. She used her note cards when she needed them, but she did not rely on them completely. When she finished, Julia and Mark both smiled. "Carmen, that was excellent," Mark said. "You are ready." "You really think so?" Carmen asked. "Absolutely," Julia said. "You have practiced so much. You know your material inside and out. You are going to do great." Carmen wanted to believe them, but as the presentation day got closer, her anxiety grew. She had trouble sleeping. She kept going over the presentation in her mind. The night before the presentation, Carmen called her mother. "I am so nervous," she told her mother. "What if I mess up in front of everyone?" Her mother's voice was calm and reassuring. "Carmen, you have prepared so well. You have practiced for weeks. You are ready, and even if you make a small mistake, it is okay. Mistakes are human. People will understand." "But what if my mind goes blank?" Carmen asked. "Then you look at your notes," her mother said simply. "That is why you have them. And if you need a moment, you can say, 'Let me check my notes to make sure I have the details right.'" That sounds professional and thoughtful. Carmen felt a little better. Her mother was right. She had tools to help her if she got stuck. The presentation day arrived. Carmen woke up early. She chose a professional outfit that made her feel confident. She ate a light breakfast even though she was not hungry. She knew she needed energy. At the office, Carmen set up the conference room. She tested her laptop and the projector. She made sure her slides worked. She placed her note cards neatly on the podium. She wanted everything to be perfect. The clients arrived at 2 p.m. There were 4 of them. They shook hands with Carmen and her boss. They seemed friendly, but Carmen still felt terrified. Her hands were sweating. Her heart was pounding. Carmen's boss introduced her. "Carmen has developed an innovative marketing strategy for your company. I will let her explain it to you." Everyone looked at Carmen. This was it. She stood up and walked to the front of the room. For a moment, her mind went completely blank. She could not remember her first sentence. Then she looked down at her first note card. "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today." The words were right there. She read them, and suddenly she remembered the rest. "Thank you for being here today," Carmen said. Her voice was quiet but steady. "I am excited to share our new marketing strategy with you." As she clicked to her first slide, she had practiced this so many times, the words started flowing. "We have analyzed your current market position and identified 3 key opportunities for growth." As Carmen spoke, she felt herself settling into a rhythm. She remembered to pause between points. She remembered to make eye contact with the clients. When she glanced at them, they were nodding and taking notes. They looked interested. Once Carmen lost her place. She paused and looked at her note card. "Let me make sure I have these numbers correct," she said. She found her place and continued. No one seemed to mind. Carmen went through all her main points. She showed the clients data and examples. She explained her recommendations clearly. She answered their questions as best she could. 25 minutes later, Carmen reached her final slide. "Thank you for your time today. I look forward to working with you on this strategy." The clients clapped politely. One of them, a woman named Susan, smiled at Carmen. "That was an excellent presentation. Your strategy is very thorough. We are impressed." Carmen felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you," she said. She could hardly believe it. She had done it. She had given the presentation, and it went well. After the clients left, Carmen's boss congratulated her. "You did a great job, Carmen. The clients loved your ideas. I am proud of you." Carmen felt like she was floating. All those weeks of anxiety and preparation had paid off. That evening, Carmen called Julia. "I did it," she said. "I actually did it, and it went well." Julia laughed with joy. "I knew you could do it. How do you feel?" "Relieved," Carmen said, "and also proud of myself. I was so scared, but I did not let the fear stop me." "That is what bravery is," Julia said. "Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is doing something even when you are afraid." Carmen thought about those words. Julia was right. She had been terrified, but she had done the presentation anyway. That was something to be proud of. The next day, Mark stopped by Carmen's desk. "I heard the presentation went great. Congratulations." "Thank you," Carmen said. "Your advice really helped. Knowing my first sentence perfectly made such a difference." "I am glad," Mark said. "You know, the first presentation is always the hardest. The next one will be easier." Carmen laughed. "I hope there is a next one. I actually feel like I could do it again." And she did do it again. A month later, her boss asked her to present at a team meeting. Carmen agreed without hesitation. She prepared carefully, just like before. But this time, she felt much less anxious. She knew what to expect. She knew she could handle it. The team presentation went even better than the client presentation. Carmen spoke with more confidence. She made jokes. She engaged with her colleagues. Afterward, several people told her she was a natural speaker. Carmen almost laughed at that. A natural speaker, her. Just 2 months ago, she could barely speak in front of 2 people. But now, after preparation and practice, she actually enjoyed it. Carmen learned important lessons from this experience. She learned that fear could be overcome with preparation. She learned that practice builds confidence. She learned that asking for help and feedback makes you better. Most importantly, she learned that she was capable of more than she thought. The scary presentation had taught her that growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone. It is uncomfortable and frightening, but on the other side of that fear is strength and pride. Carmen still got nervous before presentations, but now she knew how to manage that nervousness. She knew how to prepare. She knew she could do it, and that knowledge made all the difference.